Okay, now I'm going to start with the mountains. So I'm going to mix another color, and I'm gonna get some white with a touch of like this orange color. And that is going to be the lighter spot. And then I'm also going to get some orange with some brown and some white, and that's going to be like a darker orange. Make another pile that's even darker. It's kind of giving me some options and some different values to work with there. And I'm running out of white, so I'm going to put some more paint on my palette. Okay. Now I'm gonna start to paint my mountains, and I'm gonna start off with this mid-tone color and thin it with some water. And I'm gonna start to block this in. I want it to be darker than that actually. I'm realizing it's a little too white. So I'm adding some more orange and a little bit more brown. So this is going to come over here, and then there's this little hill, and then notice how I'm not following my drawing. I see if I want to make adjustments to it different from my drawing, that's okay. I'm not afraid of that. I'm afraid of making changes. So I'm adding water and kind of thinning it just as a base. And now I can start to add detail within it. So where it's darker, I'm going to add more orange and brown. And start to put in some shadows. And this is going to help me kind of define the mountains more. I can also get more white. And then out of this orange, get some more white and orange for the lighter bits where it's kind of really catching light. So I started with that mid-tone, and now I'm adding the darks and the lights on top. And since the paint is still wet, it kind of blends into that mid-tone. So see how this starts to give the mountain forms. Starting to make it look more three-dimensional, right? So I have two brushes in my hand. One's a darker one and one's a lighter one. I keep kind of switching, adding shadows and then light forms. Remember, your mountains don't have to look just like the painting we're copying or like my painting. It can look different, and that's fine. Okay, so that'll do for now. Okay, now I am going to clean my brushes because I'm not going to use that color anymore, and with acrylic your your brushes will dry out quickly and they can get ruined, and I don't want that. It's actually a good idea to have 2 cups of water, one for washing your brushes and one when you want to add like a cleaner water to whatever you're painting. Alright, so now I'm going to paint the blue in the sky. So this blue is quite dark, so I'm going to add some white to it, and that is going to help me get the color I want. It's also quite bright. Might add just a touch of black to calm it down, to gray it, neutralize it a bit more. And a touch of yellow, just the smallest amount to get it that right color. Okay, so now I can kind of start to block out these shapes. And then as it goes further down, it gets lighter. And lighter. When I get down here, it's almost an opportunity to kind of like redraw the mountains. And there's like this blue, it's kind of funny blue shape here. Switching over to a smaller brush to get that smaller shape in there. So kind of comes over like this. And then I can get some white. And clean things up a little bit with the color of the clouds. So see, I can just fix my mistakes so really easily. So if you make a if you feel like you made a mistake, don't worry. Super easy to clean up. Alright, and then when we get down here, it starts to get more gray, so I'm going to add more black down here. And see how that kind of grays it down and darkens my blue. And making adjustments to my mountain as I go. And this gray kind of continues over to here. And then there's some gray clouds. I'm going to have black and white. More black to block in some of these clouds that are a bit more gray. Over here, it's a bit more gray. Then getting white. So I like to start with like the sky often because it helps set the mood for the painting. Kind of popping in that white one above it. So just trying to kind of finish this area up before moving on. Adding some water there. All right. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the skull. So I'm going to mix up a brown color. So I'm gonna get this burnt sienna. And since this is like a bright brown, I need to dull it down, so I'm gonna add some black and some white, which is like gray, and it grays it out. So here is that. And I'm gonna start placing my horns, and this is gonna just be like a base color once again, like the mid-tone. And these really fun shapes. Alright, now I'm gonna place this other horn here. Or antler. I'm not quite sure what animal this is.